Good morning and welcome to one more live episode with Neetu's Academy. And also, we are starting today with a new week. So I hope that you all had a great weekend and this week is going to be good for you. With that positive note, let's start today's live session. This is Anne with you. And we, being a Monday today, we are going with the speaking live speaking mastery, wherein we discuss the speaking module, the questions related to speaking and how to deal with it. Now, when it comes to speaking, everybody, most of the candidates, for them it's very challenging. It tests their ability. Now, why it is challenging is because maybe practice is lacking, because this is not something which is that difficult if you keep on practicing on daily basis. Because this speaking as a test, if you treat it as some exam, it will be very scary. But then if you treat it as a conversation which you are going to have for 10 to 15 minutes with a person, that is the Ielts examiner, the person who is going to grade you mostly for your pronunciation, your fluency, your grammar, okay, and your vocabulary. These are the 4 things on which you are being marked. So when you practice for speaking, all you have to do is take care of these things. When you speak, take care of your pronunciation, the grammar, the fluency. Right? Now, we don't need accent when it comes to Ielts speaking, because we all are non-native speakers. As Indians, we have got a neutral accent. We don't have any accent. So accent is never counted. But then pronunciation do matters. When you say a particular word, the opposite person should be able to understand what you're trying to say, because they are not going to take an effort, because being an examiner, they're not going to take a double effort and ask you what you're trying to say, right? Then that there's no meaning in that test, right? So it should be so fluent, it should be so good in pronunciation that they should be able to understand what you're trying to convey through your speaking. It's all about expressing your ideas, giving your justifications, telling your opinions, or maybe just telling about yourself, right? That is what speaking is all about. So it's not completely formal, you can say. Speaking to an extent is an informal communication, wherein you can use phrases, to an extent you can use idioms, right? But that doesn't mean you can go very informal. It's like, hey, hi. No, we cannot do that. So it is a test. So you have to take care of these things. But it is not that formal as writing, right? Wherein these things, contractions are not allowed in writing. All these things here you can do. Okay, so that is something what speaking is all about. Giving an overview of speaking, it is divided into 3 parts: part 1, part 2, and part 3, which the test is almost between 11 to 15 minutes. That's it. That's the maximum time they will take depending upon the candidate. In this part 1, part 2, part 3, the different kinds of questions. Part 1 is mainly the introduction, right? Part 2 is the cue card. Part 3 is a continuation of the cue card, which is called discussion. So if you're aware of Ielts modules, you'll be knowing that this is what speaking is all about. Right? So now what we are going to do is that in your screen you can see that I have taken today part 1, right? So every day we do discuss different kinds of questions, right? So today what I have took is that we'll discuss a few things about part 1. Part 1, which is known as also the introduction, the warm-up round. So here we are going to meet the moderator for the first time. They're going to ask you some 3 to 4 questions which are staple for all the candidates, like asking you about your name, your identification proof, where are you from, what do you do, maybe a few things about you, a few lines about you. These are some things which they ask for every candidate, right? So because they are trying to get to know you. So this is what, after that they will ask you certain topic based questions, right? And this particular part 1 of the test lasts for around 4 to 5 minutes. That is what the time period is. Now, there is always a question mark when it comes to how much to speak, right? Because when it comes to part 2, we have got a cue card. We know it is between 1 to 2 minutes. They will give you a time. After that 2 minutes, they have a stopwatch. They will stop you. So we know, right, when we are going to stop. Between 1 to 2 minutes, we have to speak. When it comes to part 1, there's always a complication wherein candidates do ask me, how much do we need to speak here when it comes to introduction round, right? Because in that also they're asking you a few topic-based questions, but the topic revolves around you. Maybe it's about your hobby, your education, your hometown, your family, your school life, your college life, right? Your professional life, okay? Maybe your desires, your dreams, okay? All these things they're going to ask you. So, how much do you speak? So what I always suggest is that keep it to 2 to 3 sentences maximum. Don't keep it too short. Don't keep it too lengthy. Never answer in yes, no. Okay, whatever they are asking you. Are you a professional student? I'm a student, I'm a professional. Don't keep limited to that. Extend your answers a bit, right? That is what, because IELTS speaking, when it comes to speaking, it is not about, even though you have to go in alignment with the questions, you have to answer accordingly. It's not always about what we think, or they're not curious to know what our ideas are, what our opinions are. They are judging you on your language. So they can only judge your language if you speak a bit. If you don't speak a bit, if you don't expand your language, you're not able to give them opportunity to judge you. How do they judge your grammar, your pronunciations, your vocabularies, your fluency, if you're not able to, you're not speaking? If you have everything in your head, but if you're keeping it to limited, that will be a problem for you. And at the same time, you cannot speak too much also, because like I say, it's 11 to 15 minutes maximum test. So they're not going to let you speak, go overboard also. They will definitely interrupt you, right? So we are going to look at some of the ways how we can extend your answers when it comes to part 1, right? So I have taken certain things by which, if you add these things, I mean, if you inculcate these things in your practice, maybe you'll be able to cross part 1 very easily. Because as we always say, first impression is the best impression. And this is a part 1 questions, right? So you have to be very good. That doesn't mean we can ignore part 2 or part 3. You have to consistently be following that things. But then this is the first question, so be always best at it, right? So അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് നോക്കാം some easy ways to extend your answers for part 1. Okay, അപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ എടുത്തേക്കുന്ന കുറച്ച് പോയിന്റ്സ് ഉണ്ട്. Let's go to this and just get an overview of it, right? Now, first thing is by saying how you feel about the question you were just asked. So you are asked a question. Now, first thing is tell them how do you feel about it. Don't keep it very short, okay, and simple. Like for example, the question is, what do you like to do in your spare time? That means when you have got a spare time, maybe a holiday, weekend, whatever it is, whatever spare time it is, or a free time, what do you like to do? So maybe your answer can be, I normally watch television, right? Maybe I generally prefer to watch television. That is something I really love, right? So you have limited your answer to that. Whenever you get a spare time, you watch television, right? Okay, now how do you extend your answer by letting them feel about what you were just asked? So maybe you can just say, starting when you start, whenever I get a holiday or whenever I get any free time in my schedule, I prefer to watch television, right? Then after that, you can just add, what do you like to watch, right? What normally you prefer to watch in that. Or maybe you can also say that I know that I am sometimes wasting my time watching the things which come on this idiot box, but then I miss this opportunity when I'm working, right? I'm a person who likes to I like to watch news, or maybe some documentary, or maybe some anything, movies. You're a movie lover, but then in your schedule you don't get that time, right? So that is the reason, despite of other things which I have to do, like maybe I have other works also. I like to read also, right? I like to read too, or maybe I like gardening, okay? Despite of that, even though I know that those things are going to upgrade my knowledge, or maybe make me give me physical activity, despite of that I prefer watching this, because I am a movie buff. I love to watch movies which I don't get time when I'm working, or when I'm with my family, or I'm having my personal works. So whenever I get some spare time or free time, I prefer to go and watch some movies, download a few shows and watch them. Okay, so then in this way you have tried to make them understand that why do you watch it. Okay, you do watch in your free time television or movies or whatever it is, but then you have given them a reason why do you prefer to do that. So you are trying to tell them that how do you feel about it, right? That is in way you can extend your answers, right? That is one way to tell. Don't stop it at that. Just tell them why do you do that, or why do you prefer to do that, right? Or maybe something else which you would like to do. Despite of that, you do it for a reason, right? Fine. Simply giving contrast details. Now, opposite details, right? Right now they have asked you something, say about it, and they then say something, just contrast to it. Like the question is, how long have you worked there? Or before the question must have been definitely, are you a professional? Where do you work? So you must have told, I'm working in this XYZ company as an XYZ post, right? Whatever it was. Next question could be, how long have you worked there? So they're asking a time period of working. So it can be, for example, if it's 5 years. I have been working here from the past. I have been working here from the past 5 years, right? Right. Even though I love to work here, I am looking for another job which can improve, because I know that I have the potential to go for it. Right? Or maybe I am looking for a lucrative job. I am looking for a better salary or a better standard of living. Or maybe right now you're sitting in the IELTS test, right? This question comes to you. I've been working here from the past 5 years, but I feel that my growth has become stagnant here. And that is the reason I'm looking out for another opportunity, mainly in some European country, and that is the reason due to which I'm attempting my IELTS exam. Right? So that can be like you're going contrast. Even though you have been working here, it has given you growth. Right now it has become stagnant, so you're looking for an opportunity. So it is giving a contrast information. Right? That is in way you can answer, you can extend your, instead of just telling that I have been working here from the 5 years, it becomes a very simple sentence. അപ്പം നിങ്ങളിവിടെ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട് 5 years ആയിട്ട്, നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഗ്രോത്ത് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു, പക്ഷേ ഇപ്പം ആ ഗ്രോത്ത് സ്റ്റാഗ്നൻ്റ് ആയതുകൊണ്ട് നിങ്ങൾ വേറെ ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി യു ലുക്കിംഗ് ഫോർ ഇറ്റ്. So it becomes a contrast information. In that way you can answer it, right? Next, talk about what you used to do, that is going in the past tense, and how that has changed now in the present. So the question can be in present tense, right? The question they are asking in present tense, answer it and then go to the past tense. Okay, so that gives an opportunity to you. So maybe like, for example, do you play sports, right? Or maybe something else, right? Do you watch television, for example, right? So if the question is do you play sports, the question is in present tense. നിങ്ങൾ സ്പോർട്സ് കളിക്കാറുണ്ടോ? Yes or no. Either it can be a yes or it can be a no. Yes, I'm a person who actively participates in some sporting activities like maybe cricket, tennis, football, whatever it is. Or maybe no, I don't. No, I'm not that active in any sporting activities, okay, because of my hectic schedule. That will end your answer. Athre ullu one sentence. So how you can extend this? You can say, if you're telling yes, you can say yes, I am participating actively few sporting activities. Every weekends or every day I go for my tennis practice or cricket practice, right? That much you say. Now how do you go in the past? However, I was not such a person some 5 years back, right? I was a very lazy person when it was regarding sports. But yes, to keep myself fit and healthy, I took up the initiative to join a club or something and continue with this activity, right? That is when you say yes. If you say no, I don't, I have a very hectic schedule, that's the reason I'm not taking part in any sporting activity. But then I do remember that 5 years back, or maybe during my college days, I was a very good cricket player, or maybe I was a very good tennis player. So I was a part of my college team, and I was actively participating in all the matches or championships. But today I cannot due to my busy life. So that is where you're giving a contrast information. Right now you are playing, previously you were not. Or right now you're not playing, previously you were. So that is again you are giving something which you used to in the past, right? Something about the past. So that is something you can do, right? Next, try to explain why you think or do something. When give reasons, that is justify. Do you like ice creams? Yes, I do. Why do you like ice creams? Okay. Do you like sweets? Yes, I do. Why do you like sweets? Or why you, no, I don't like sweets. So why do you don't like? So that is when you're giving a reason. Do you like your job? Yes, I do. I am in love with my job. I love what I do. I'm very passionate about it. Right? You're giving why you like your job, because from my childhood itself I had a dream of working in this XYZ profession, and I have worked towards it. I have achieved my dreams by working towards this, and today I feel that I have come to a point where this is my it has turned out to be my lifeline, and without this I cannot survive. So you're giving your reasons. Maybe you can also say it gives me very good salary, it gives me a good standard of living, it gives me the opportunity to travel, right? For example, if you are somebody who is working in a tourism industry, you can say that yes, it gives me the opportunity to travel, it helps me to meet with people, right? It gives me opportunity to get an exposure of different languages, cultures. അപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾ എന്തുകൊണ്ട് നിങ്ങളുടെ ജോബ് ലൈക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നു, ലവ് ചെയ്യുന്നു, and reasons. You add reasons there, so it becomes easy for you. Instead of just simply telling that, okay, yes, I do love my job, or no, I don't love my job, I don't like my job, but giving reasons, that will extend your answer. Okay. Then now we spoke about in the previous one, talk about your present and talk about your past. Similarly, you can talk about your present and talk about your future. Okay, like ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ ഒരു സിമ്പിൾ പ്രസൻറ്റ് ടെൻസ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ചോദിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ആൻസർ ദാറ്റ് ഇൻ സിമ്പിൾ പ്രസൻറ്റ് ടെൻസ് ആൻഡ് ആൻസർ സംതിങ് ഫോർ ദ ഫ്യൂച്ചർ ഓൾസോ, റൈറ്റ്? മേ ബി സംതിങ് യു ഹാവ് പ്ലാൻഡ് അബൌട്ട്, യു ക്യാൻ എക്സ്പ്രസ് ദാറ്റ്. സോ ലൈക്ക് ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ, ഡു യു വർക്ക് ഓർ സ്റ്റഡി? Simple question and a very common question in introduction. Most of the candidates are asked this: do you work or study? So you will definitely say, I am a student, right? Or I just completed my degree or my HSC or whatever it is, and I'm planning to go on further studies, right? Or maybe you will say, no, I'm working as a professional in this. I am professionally this XYZ profession, and I am working in this XYZ company. So after that, and then you can add, however, I am planning to go abroad, or maybe some other place, you can say, wherein I think I'll be getting a better opportunity in my field, okay, and that is also going to give me a better life. So I'm really trying for that. So that means you're trying to say about your future, right? Or right now you may say that right now I'm working as a teacher, but I really have this desire to do my post graduation. Where I have done my graduation, I started working as a teacher, and I have been always wanting to complete my PhD or post graduation. So most probably I'll be resigning by next year and taking up a postgraduate degree in this XYZ university. I'm working towards that, or maybe a PhD. I'll work on it, right? So that is something. So you are telling about your future. You can do that also. Okay, then contrast opposite opinions. Now, when contrast means opposite opinions, that means you say about something and then you say just opposite of that also. You say about something in a particular manner, and the next sentence you would say just opposite of that. Contrast your opinions in an opposite manner. Like for example, making it very easy, I can explain through a question. Is your hometown a nice place for tourists to visit? So you're asking about your hometown. Is it a nice place? Okay, that means is it a good place to visit for tourists, right? So most probably if you say yes, it is a nice place for the tourists to visit because it has got a lot of greenery, so waterfalls are there, okay? Or maybe it makes life easier, okay? Or maybe it will make them in their life it will quite easier for them to come there and visit all these places, and you say that. After that you can just say opposite of that also. അതായത് ഇപ്പോൾ നല്ലതാണെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് maybe you can say 1 or 2 points why a precaution has to be taken, right? So when you say there that tourists can visit my hometown, it is a very beautiful place, it has got a lot of natural resources and greenery. However, they have to take care about the roads over there because the infrastructure is not up to date or developed. So it will create a problem for the people who come there for the first time. So that has to be taken care. Okay, that is something you can mention. That is contrast opinion. Or maybe there is robbery, or maybe there are some difficulties and all those kind of things, right? So you're giving contrast opinions. Fine. That is one thing. Then next is this is something which is very important. You have to know real life examples. Okay, I always suggest to go for real life examples, which is the easiest way. Examples are an extension of your explanation. So you can give examples, and from your real life makes it very easy because you're talking about your experiences, so it makes easy to explain that. So you can talk about them more naturally and in a detailed manner. Now always note a point, this is part 1. You cannot go overboard. So make sure that you give in 1 or 2 sentences what you are trying to explain. Like for example, the question is, if your question is, do you get along with your sibling or siblings, right? If you have got a brother and sister, do you get along with them? Now it can be either a yes or it can be, most of the introduction questions are like, most of the questions right is speaking are wherein you are giving your reason. So either you say yes or no and then you justify why it's a yes, why it's a no. That is it, right? So you get along with your sibling or siblings. If you say that, then you can say that I have got a brother, or I have got a sister, I have got 2 brothers or 2 sisters, however it is. If you not mentioned it earlier, if you already told them, then you can say, as I mentioned earlier, I have got 1 brother and a sister. And to be honest about it, I get along with my brother quite well, but my sister and me are exactly like opposite poles. If she is the North Pole, I am the South Pole. Alright? Then you can give, for instance, For instance, when it comes to food or cuisine, I love Indian food and she loves Chinese, okay, or continental or whatever. When it comes to movies, I like to watch thriller movies or suspense movies, and she is a romantic buff, so she loves to watch romance movies. So and we were kind of like, always used to fight with each other because of our difference in choices, right? So that is something you are giving an example here, how you differ from your sister or a brother. That is, so giving a real life example will be always great if you want to extend your answers, right? Okay, then next one more last point, that you can use words usually, never, always, or more often. Okay, all these kind of words, like for example, what do you do at weekends? Okay, so maybe you on weekends you stay at home, okay, or maybe you go out with your friends. It can be anything, whatever the answer is. What do you do at weekends? I usually prefer to stay, or maybe you can start by telling that I get a Saturday and a Sunday off. That is my weekend. My weekends are Saturdays and Sundays. I'm not working, right? And during those 2 days when I get holiday, I usually prefer to stay at home, or I never stay at home, right? I never stay at home. More often, I visit my friends and we go out for trekking or maybe cycling, or just we go out for movies or discos and just have a great time. Okay, so you can say some of these words, like usually what you do, or something never you do, or something always you do. Whenever I get a weekend off, I always stay at home, right? I never like to go out. I prefer to stay at home, watch some movies, be with my family and enjoy my day and take some rest, right? Physically and mentally, I try to give a rest to myself. So that is something you can answer. In this way also you can answer your questions and extend. Instead of if the simple way of answering was, what do you do at weekends? I stay at home and watch television during weekends. So that's a very simple sentence. So what you have to do, you have to bring some extension to that so that they can judge your language in a better manner. Okay. So these are some ways by which you can extend your answers for IELTS speaking part 1. Okay. So I have taken down a few questions which can be a part of the part 1 type of questions. The topic I took is internet, which is a very common topic. We all are aware of that topic, and we do know about it. So maybe if your question is, how important is the internet to you? So maybe you're answering your question with telling your answer first. Extremely important, not at all important. Okay, it can be, I have taken extremely important because this is my answer. I would prefer to say in this manner. I would always prefer to say, maybe I would prefer to pretend I have an opinion, because I will have more content to speak about it. That is my way of giving IELTS speaking, right? So here I would say extremely important. That means very important for me, right? Ultimately, right? Then you are telling important. If you give only this much, for me, internet in my today's life is extremely important. Now you are stopping there. There's nothing. What do you say? You did extremely. You told important. How do they judge on these 2 words and that 1 sentence? So you have to extend your answers. What do you do? How it becomes important for you? You told extremely means very, very important. So how it becomes important? I depend on it for work, for your work purpose, your research purpose, right? I do work. When I work, I do a research on a lot of things, right? On content wise, and also how do I do research? For my study purpose also, I do get to study a lot of things. I do whenever I'm studying, when I'm studying something, I do use it. These are some things connected to my work. And entertainment, right? So also I get entertained with this. If I want to watch a movie, if I want to watch something else, want to watch a news, anything else, I have to depend on internet. So I am dependent that for my work purpose or my other purpose. So what I told, I depend on it for work, research, study and entertainment. You're giving them 4 vocabularies, right? You're giving them 4 words and also justifying your answer. So without it, I would be completely lost, right? So you're telling that without it, then you are going like giving a extension to that. Without it, I am complete. You're telling how you feel about it. You're telling them how you feel about that question. So without it, I'll be completely lost. So that will be a very good answer for that simple question, right? In 2 sentences. Fine. How often do you use the internet? Next question can be, how do you use it? How often? How frequently you use? So definitely the answer will be always first. Justification will come afterwards. How often? I use it constantly. throughout the day. That means you're using it from the moment you get up till the moment you hit your bed, you use it, right? That means constantly throughout the day. So I use it constantly throughout the day, right? Every day, and that too every day. It's not like you keep it off on weekends. You're using it every day throughout the day. Then what do you do? How do you use it? So that is an extension. How you do? I check my emails when I get up in the morning. I use it for all work all day. I'm completely on the internet, and then I watch videos, right? Now that is, I get up in the morning, I read my emails. In the day when I'm working, I use internet. I use it for other purposes like due to entertainment. You have already told. I watch videos. I would read books, ebooks you can read, or listen to music through it at night. That means starting from the day, morning till night, you're using it. So you have justified your point, right, in that 2 sentences. So that is where you can answer it. Now, do you use it more for work or in your free time? So next question can be like, how do you now you already told you work it for home and for you take it for work and also for your free time, for other times, right? So how do you use it for more for your work purpose or your free time? I would say both. That's a better way of answering, right? So if you say both, you can give the points for both. How do you use it for work and how do you use it for entertainment purpose or when you're free? I would say both. About 50%. So you have given the extent also to what percentage. About 50% of my job involves researching and writing on the internet. So I would use it for about 4 hours a day. So in a day, I use it for 4 hours. They're asking specifically, do you use it for work or free time? So you're giving the specification. So I use it for around 4 hours a day. When I get home, I am normally too tired to go to the gym or play sports. So it is really easy to download a movie or stream some music. I normally do that until I fall asleep. Remember, we had a question, what do you do in a free time or spare time? And it was like, I already told you that I do this specific thing, right? So here we can also say that I normally get too tired to go to the gym or play sports, right? So what happens, even though I know that it is good for my health, right? If I go to gym or if I go to play some sports, it will be always good for my health. But still, that is, I am already tired after my work, so it becomes difficult for me. That's why what you do, it is easy for me to download a movie and just sit and watch and relax and enjoy. So that's why I prefer to watch that. So that is another way of answering it. So this is how you do that question. Sherry. Next one. What are your favorite websites? We use internet and we browse through various websites, lot of things to watch because we need them. Websites are from where we'll get the information about what you're looking for. So, websites. So, what is your favorite of them all? I like a few of them. Now, that will make easier for you because if you name only one, then your content will be limited. You have to say only about that. So, in the beginning, if you say, I love a few of them, or there are various websites which I really love, right? I browse through them on my daily basis. Then you tell about your favorite. So, I like a few of them. Firstly, Google, which is the most powerful search engine we all have. We go to it for everything. Firstly, Google, it allows me to find the information I need quickly and accurately. Google is known for its accurate information, right? So that's why it's the most powerful search engine. So it allows me to find the information I need quickly and accurately. In my spare time, I use Facebook, right? Like everyone else does in the world. You can say Facebook, you can say Instagram, you can say Twitter, whichever you like. Okay, you can say that I have taken Facebook because that is what I browse a lot compared to Instagram and Twitter. So in my spare time, I use Facebook like everyone else in the world, right? But my favorite site is the Hindu. There is a site for the Hindu newspaper. So, but my favorite site is the Hindu because it allows me to keep up to date with everything that's happening. So even though I go to Google for a lot of information, I do browse Facebook a lot of times. But then my favorite, your question was, what are your favorite websites? There's a plural. Website in Allah, it is websites. That means you can name a few and then out of that you can say your favorite one. That is a way of answering that question. It will give you content also. It will extend your answer. So you're telling some of them which you browse, and out of that, which is your favorite, you tell in the end, and you end your answer. Okay? So that is the answer you can give for that. Next. Do you think you use the internet too much? Now they're asking about the next, like, what do you think? Do you use the internet too much? It is about you about or yourself. But if you're asking me, it's about myself, right? So I think most people do these days. You be very general. First, you generalize the answer. I think that most of them do it. In today's world, everybody is dependent on internet. The life is like a kind of a lifeline. For everything, we are dependent on it. My problem is that there are so many sites. Now you are telling them that do you use it too much or you don't use it. So right, you're giving the justification first. That is another way of answering the question. Instead of telling that yes, I do it too much and then because why, give the reason first and then say how you do it, right? So my problem is that there are so many sites and apps that you end up checking them way too often, right, which waste lots of time. It can also be it can also be a bit antisocial if you check your phone when you are with other people. That means you told there that you are using it too much because there are so many sites and apps that you end up checking them way too often. So innumerable apps are there, millions of sites are there, 24 hours is less if you sit on the internet, right? So that's why, because of that reason, I am using too much of it, okay, which wastes lot of time. My lot of time is wasted. You are again telling what you feel about it. നിങ്ങളിത് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിലും അതിനെപ്പറ്റി നിങ്ങളുടെ ഫീലിംഗ് എന്താണ്, നിങ്ങൾക്കത് ഇഷ്ടമല്ലെങ്കിലും നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അങ്ങനെ ഒരു ഓപ്ഷൻസ് വരുന്നുണ്ട്, നിങ്ങൾ അങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യുന്നു. ബട്ട് ദെൻ യു ടെല്ലിംഗ് ദ ഫീലിംഗ്, ഐ നോ ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് എ വേസ്റ്റേജ് ഓഫ് ടൈം, ഇറ്റ് വേസ്റ്റ് ലോട്ട് ഓഫ് ടൈം. Now second, you're telling it can be antisocial. Nowadays when I am with people are sitting around, they are on mobiles only, right? So if you check your phones when you're talking to someone or somebody is talking to you, it becomes kind of antisocial. That is also one point you have mentioned over here. That means the answer is what? Yes, I do use internet too much, okay, or in an immense way, right, or an abundant, right? Fine. Next one. How will the internet develop in the future? Now that is where you have to give your ideas. They're asking you, how do you think that internet is going to develop in the coming years, in the future? I think it's your opinion. They're asking you about, to you, what do you think? What are your thoughts about it? I think it will be more on mobile phones, okay, instead of on desktops or laptops. People would prefer to watch internet more on the mobile phones as compared to laptop or desktop. That is what I think, because and smartphones are becoming very popular and it's becoming cheaper also. We have got so many offers going on. Festive offers will start, okay, so many offers will be there, so powerful and more affordable. It is becoming more affordable to the public. In the coming years, it will be more affordable. So I think we will see a shift from people using the internet on desktop computers to mobiles and apps rather than traditional websites. So today we are using a lot of internet when you sit on the computer. Mobile phones, somewhere it's always said that it affects your eyes too much more than you sit on laptop or desktop. So that's why. But in the coming future, more internet will be used for mobile phones rather than for desktop and laptop. That's my opinion. Okay, that is what you answer it. So here you have answered a few sentences. First, you have given the justification why it is to be most used on smartphones, on phones, because they are becoming cheaper, they become affordable and powerful, and therefore the shift will happen from internet to computers rather than traditional websites. Okay. Next question. Are there any negative things about the internet? So do you think that there are some negative points about the internet? Like, is there anything which is going to be negative consequences? So here you can say yes, I do think, or no, I don't, right? So wherever you have got more reasons, you would take that part. For me, it will be a yes, because there I will have more lot of negative things to say. So being connected all of the time is not a good thing, right? So when you are connected, that is what I think is a negative thing. When you get the mobile phone in the hand, we are connected to it. We don't feel like switching it off. We keep on swiping different kinds of pages, right? So being connected all the time is not a good thing. That is a negative thing about it. That is the bad part about internet. Something if we could change was this thing. Before you had to sit at your computer and log on, right? Which took time. So you didn't do it so much, right? So before, what used to happen, you had a desktop or you had a laptop, you had to switch it on, you had to sit down, You have to sit down, right? You cannot carry your laptop and roam around here and there. It becomes a little bit difficult for you, right? So that is why it was not when we used to talk to someone, we're not carrying a laptop and sitting behind with them and doing our work. We cannot do that. However, times have changed now. We have got phones, which are that small equipments which has got all the facilities, so you can carry it wherever you go. When we are traveling, when you're visiting any place, when you're going to somebody's house, you can just take that phone and browse through it. Which is now all people have to do is look at their phones, which is too much for me. I have been trying to leave my phone at home when I socialize with friends and family to stop myself from focusing too much on the phone rather than them. Right? What is the negative point? We are becoming antisocial. Right? You can say, as I mentioned earlier, becoming antisocial is one of the negative points of using internet very frequently. Previously, we used to use laptops and desktops, which we could not physically carry when we go somewhere. So, but now we have got a mobile phone, which we can carry easily. So, what I do when I socialize with my friends or family, I keep it at bay. Okay, I don't treat it as a person who is a member in our family. His mobile becomes an outsider, and that is how I don't ignore my family or my friends. Right? So that is something negative which I try to rectify by keeping mobile away from me. Right? That was the answer for that question. Okay, so these no, you cannot by heart any answers speaking, but this was a way of telling that section 1, that is part 1, which is an introduction question, it should not be too short and not too lengthy. Look at every question we have answered today. These are the answers which I would prefer to give, right? In this, not exactly the same, maybe a bit of change here and there. So, but I would like to keep it in this manner, wherein I am not keeping it too short, nor am I keeping it too lengthy, wherein the examiner will have to interrupt me, right? So that is something which I wanted to tell you. How do you extend the problem that how much to speak for part 1, right? Discussion part, anyways, part 3, we know that we have to speak a bit in there, around 5 to 6 sentences, so we know where to start and where to stop. Introduction is that kind of question where we are told that being the name itself says introduction, that means we know we don't have to speak too much, but then we cannot keep it to very short also. That is something which you have to take care when you answer this type of questions. Okay, so I guess we end it here today with our speaking live session. We'll meet next week with another speaking, and the coming weeks with different kinds of lives. Okay, so do practice every day, keep yourself safe, and have a great day.